Hi there, welcome to I'll Fly Tarot. I'm going to do a tarot card reading for Pisces energy, and we're going to read it from a couple different perspectives because people have free will. Some people harness high vibe Pisces energy. Some people harness some more worldly Pisces energy. Some people harness some more shadowy Pisces energy. And we all tap into Pisces energy, so we just need to listen to our intuition about the people that we're dealing with, because not everybody is motivated and inspired by the same thing, and some people are more grown and matured and healed than other people. So let's go see what's going on in Pisces energy. The overarching reason for the reading is peace, and under that is hidden motivations and loving woman. So shadowy Pisces kind of, and even people in worldly Pisces energy, they could want to be in relationships with people who are loving. And the way I read tarot is the feminine figures can talk about how we think and how we feel, and the masculine energies that we have here can represent how people are presenting themselves in the world and how they're taking action in the world. You know, some people are shadowy and they're okay with that. They do have hidden motivations. They do try to manipulate people to get them to do what they want. And, you know, it's kind of like, maybe we could look at the peace card as like the justice card, what we think is just and fair. And some people think it's just and fair to try to manipulate loving people to get what they want. And they have hidden motivations. High vibe people connected in with their high vibe Pisces energy of emotions and intuition realize that there's people like that in the world, probably because they've been in a relationship with people who are like that. And they're listening to their intuition about the different type of people in the world. Who are the people that are trying to emotionally manipulate people, like present themselves as these loving, nurturing, stable, grounded, mature people, and who's the real deal? And as we're doing that, we also need to make sure we don't let our own shadow nature of fear and insecurity and pride and ego stop us from loving and believing in ourselves, because our own shadowy nature tries to stop us from loving and believing in ourselves. And then we have people in our life who don't want us to love and believe in ourselves. So let's see what else is going on. So we start out with 5 cards not showing themselves, and the reason they came out is because of the decrease card. Let's go look at what these cards are. The angels of the 4 directions, the vast universe, transformation, family, and deserving. Okay, I don't recognize these cards just by looking at them, so I have to lay them out here so that I can see them and what they say. So when cards aren't showing themselves, some people could reject harnessing these energies in a high vibe way, and other people realize that some people harness those energies in a shadowy way. And even though they could have had love for them, in tarot, the water can represent love and emotions and things that we have for people. And we could realize that some people reject harnessing these energies in a high vibe way. You know, they're operating more from their more worldly view of life or self-interest view of life. And they just haven't transformed their life. What they align with within themselves, the deserving card is kind of like the 9 of Pentacles. They have chosen to align because we have free will. Some people are more aligned with their worldly view of life. Instead of having hope and faith and belief and love, you know, the way that they feel makes them feel stable and grounded within themselves. What they think will make them happy is to maybe not do love, maybe don't even believe in love. You can get hurt doing love. And some people are like, you know, I'm happy making my life more about me, more about the things of the world, ego, image, indulgence, status, you know, and that's what I think is the whole purpose of being on this planet, and what the world says will make me happy. And I align with that. And I think they are harnessing these energies in a shadowy way In the family card, we have free will. Which aspect of myself am I going to align with in my world of duality, with having like the knowledge of the tree of good and evil? I can align with my more immature, worldly, self-interest nature, or I can grow and mature myself and be someone who can work together with people cooperatively, in equal give and take, treat other people the way I like to be treated from a foundation of love. But everybody's got free will and some people don't. And how they view the world and the vast universe is that the way to transform their life is to work with the world and the things of the world and live more from their mind than their heart and make their life about these things that they want to pursue or indulge in that they're sure will make them happy. And the whole thing is just some people, we've all been there, right? We can all think, because learning how to love yourself and working through your dualistic nature to come to a place of balance between your dualistic nature. We've all got our shadowy, more immature, prideful, egotistical, lazy. I want all the things, but I don't want to put in the work and effort. Other people have lived enough life to grow and mature themselves and realizing that if I keep looking like outside of myself for my worth and value, being in more codependent energy to make me happy, it probably doesn't turn out the way that I want. And those, our shadow nature represented by the devil is those things can kind of get a stranglehold on you. We can look to drugs and alcohol, gambling, and we can look to relationships to be the answer to our problems. And then we can get in relationships with people and we realize that they maybe don't have our best intentions at heart because we could have been in shadowy type of energy, more codependent energy when we got in a relationship with them. There, we tend to hang out with people who are on the same page as us. We've got some of the same lessons to learn in life. And some of the people, we do this work within ourselves to free ourselves from our more immature, fearful, codependent nature. And we work cooperatively together to maintain balance within ourselves and then maintain balance in a relationship. Harnessing high vibe Libra energy, being balanced within ourselves, offsetting our own immature, selfish, greedy, I want it my way nature, to work cooperatively with people from love. But sometimes we get in relationships with people where kind of can have some growing and maturing and fears and insecurities and codependencies. Some of the people we get in relationship with, though, they don't want to keep. The truth sets us free to live our life differently. And some people are happy like it's staying the way it is. And they might like to keep their fears or their insecurities or their, whatever it is that stops them from being more just and fair and balanced within themselves. They might like to stay out of balance and they just want people to love them with them being tipped out of balance. I'm immature, or I'm bossy, or I'm controlling, or I'm manipulative, or I think it should be more about me. And eventually high vibe people realize that these people do have some other driving factor as to why they want to be and stay in the relationship. But they're not willing to work through those issues to be a more loving person. To grow up and mature themselves, free themselves from the things that manipulate them. And we realize some of the people, they have the opportunity to heal and grow and mature themselves, but they would have to become more independent. The deserving card, I view it like the Nine of Pentacles. We all have our more worldly, self-interested nature. Are we going to Virgo energy that we all tap into? Are we willing to put in work and effort to deal with our more emotionally fearful or defensive or immature or selfish nature? Are we willing to put in work and effort to transform what we align with within ourselves? The family can just represent the foundation that we align with within ourselves. to be more independent. Living in a world of duality, there has to be, you have to make a choice, right? You're either doing this or you're doing that. Some things have to be let go of. And for some people, there's things that they're codependent on that might make them feel safe and secure. You can look at the Libra justice energy of what makes me feel safe and secure, makes me feel balanced within myself. They're unwilling to let go of some of those things. And it can be, I'm just defensive, to becoming independent of my defensive nature. I'd have to let go emotionally of my more defensive nature, know my worth and value, believe in myself, to actually take action in a more balanced way in love. I would have to work through my fears or my insecurities to be more balanced within myself, work through those things I'd rather keep hidden in the dark with the hidden motivations. Our Virgo energy goes to look at those things that were hidden in the dark, or the things we'd prefer to keep hidden in the dark, so that we can be free of them. High vibe energy is about being free. Because shadowy energy, kind of represented by the devil, are those things that limit us and oppress us and confine us and imprison us, and our more codependent, fearful nature. For some people, they're just codependent. And they might want to be in relationships with people, but there's some, they align with in themselves their more self-interested nature, fearful nature, codependent nature. And then they could have other people in their life. It could be people in their original family. It could be their friend group. And those people could represent kind of like the core foundation that they rely on, but those aren't people they can be in relationships with or marry, because some of those people are just their siblings and a friend, right? But they want to be in relationships with people, but they hide that you're kind of like the third party in the relationship, because they're codependent on these other people or the world. Their own worldly, shadowy nature is the truth of who they are, and they don't plan to become independent of it. I define my worth and value based on how I think the world views me. I'm more motivated and inspired by to have a certain image, to have people view me a certain way, because that's how I define myself. And I might have had other loving people leave my life because they saw the truth that I have these things that manipulate me. I wanted to be in a relationship with them too. I did get in a relationship with them too. But I was hiding that either I have these fears or these insecurities, or I'm codependent on these other things that I'm unwilling to free myself from, to be more independent, to be more free of what manipulates me, to be more just and fair and balanced in a relationship. Or people realizing they are more worldly focused, ego focused, image focused, and that's why they got in the relationship. And high vibe people don't want people to be in a relationship with them more because of the ego or the image, or because it makes them feel more balanced, or some people just go from one codependent relationship to another codependent relationship. It's like, I want to rest within a relationship. Another relationship could have ended, and those people healed, those people grew and matured themselves, those people wanted me to move forward in that way with them, and I was unwilling to do that. You have to be willing to do the inner work to free yourself from some things that manipulate you. And when other people have maybe been in relationship with these people trying to bring a dream into reality, it does require that people become independent, maybe even of their lack mentality. They're not feeling good enough. They're more fearful, insecure nature. And some of those people weren't willing to do that work within themselves to figure out, why am I tipped out of balance? Why am I not more balanced within myself? Why do I want to get in a relationship just to rest within it, but I'm unwilling to put in work and effort to heal and grow and mature myself so that we can all keep kind of moving forward in the relationship? We're, going through these different stages of life. But in order to go from one stage of life to the next stage of life, you have to learn the lessons you're meant to learn at the past stage of life. You have to heal, you have to grow, you have to mature, you have to expand your perception of yourself or the world around you, how you view relationships or something. Some people could have a lack mentality, and then we prove ourselves true. No, people will always leave me. No, I have these fears, insecurities. People will always leave me. People always reject me. And then they do things in a relationship that they prove themselves right. Because they do these things that aren't conducive to a loving relationship. They do things in the decreasing card that are counteractive to a relationship continuing to stay in balance and grow and heal and mature over time. Because I got some lessons to learn in life. And some people, shadowy Pisces, can be people, regardless of what sun sign they are, in their Pisces energy, they have these illusions about what it means to be in a relationship. Can't I be in a relationship and just... Don't we all just want a place to rest within? How about none of us grow and mature and heal ourselves in it? Perfect. The only problem is other people do. We can all come into a relationship with some of our fears, our insecurities, our self-learning beliefs. Other people don't want to just ignore them all their life. Kind of like living from their ego. No, I can just ignore it. No, I'm just going to bury it underneath the surface. I'm just going to keep presenting myself as this loving person in the world, not deal with my issues. Well, not everybody's like that, And the people who do like to do that need to go find someone who's on the same page as them, who likes to do that also. Because not everybody does. Other people are motivated, kind of listen to their intuition, their life force energy that I do at any given moment in my life have some fears and insecurities and self-learning beliefs. At every stage of life, I have those. There comes a time in that cycle of that phase of life that I do this work within myself to work through those things, to love myself, to believe in myself, to free myself from the things that hold me back, that keep me in like fear and insecurity and pride and ego. And they let those things go. Those things aren't beneficial to me. At any time and stage in our life, some people go through a stage of life where they look at what they've learned and how they've been living their life, and they look at the things that they want to keep holding on to that are beneficial to build upon moving forward, and what things they've learned they need to let go of. Like, that was immature. I've been acting out of pain and heartbreak. That's because of my self-limiting beliefs. And, they do this work to let those things go, to move on from them. And there's some people, though, whatever issues they have, even if those things are detrimental to them, they're not willing to let them go. They would rather let their dreams go. Pisces, emotional water sign energy. No, I'm willing to let my hopes and dreams and love go because I think I'll be happy indulging in these things of the world, aligning with my more worldly nature, staying in my defensive nature, making my life more about just me, making my life about ego or image or money or materialism. I'm sure if I make my life about those things, it'll all work out okay. And I think the people that harness this energy in a shadowy way, they try to hide from people that that's how they view life. And they've probably had some other loving people leave their life because the other people saw the truth of it. that there's some things some people need to detach from and let go of, like growing up and maturing themselves in some way, past pain and heartbreak, fears, insecurities, ways of indulging or feeling, coping mechanisms that some of these people aren't willing to let go of. And the high vibe people in their life were like, I'm not giving up on my dreams. I'm not going to let what manipulates you manipulate me. And at one time, maybe it did. We both could have been in more codependent energy. But I've done this work within myself to love myself and believe in myself. And I've freed myself from some of those things that manipulate me. But you didn't. And I've offered you love and encouragement, offered you resources to move forward with me, to do this, to inspire you to try to do this work within you. But I can't make people... it's kind of like people who put out their cup saying, fill my cup of love. Give me love, give me love, give me love. But then they never use that loving, supportive environment to do this work within themselves. And they want you to keep giving to them and them keep not doing the work within themselves to heal and grow and mature themselves. To work through their own issues. Like, no, this is how I view a relationship. You give, I take. And enabling people in their poor behavior, they have no incentive to change because you keep indulging them in their poor behavior. And that could be how we could have thought that, that could have been a pattern of relationship that we had, where we give to people who, oh, look, here's someone who doesn't love and believe in themselves. Oh, look, here's someone who's defensive. Oh, look, here's someone who's fearful or insecure. I'm going to love them. They're going to transform their life. And we're kind of in our savior complex. When do we get tired of being in relationships like that? And why would we do that? It can be a pattern that we have. We can kind of like being in a relationship like that because it makes us feel like a loving, giving person, but we're not really in relationships with people who are on the same page as us, and it's not challenging us to grow to our full potential. Sometimes we get in relationships with people because there isn't someone around who we kind of do think is on the same page as us. But we want to be in a relationship. And then we can get in relationships with people who aren't on the same page, like, oh, they're immature, they're reckless, they have addictions, they're whatever. But we're hoping over time that they will get more balance within themselves and will kind of be on the same page. And it's kind of like saying some people will, some people won't. But I think as people go through life more, that's kind of like, yeah, I'm not doing that anymore. If people show me where they're at in life, I'm going to accept that they're where they're at in life. And I've also maybe learned to feel more stable and grounded within myself and know how to fill my own cup emotionally. I don't want to get myself emotionally entangled in a relationship with someone who I right now doesn't seem to be the type of person that I'm on the same page with. We're these emotionally complex human beings. Why get myself entangled up with someone? I can be friends with people. I can be loving and encouraging to people, but am I going to date you? Am I going to get in a more involved relationship with you? No. Because we're not on the same page. And I'm not willing to give up my dreams to get in a relationship, get myself entangled in something that, what if then someone who does seem to be more on the same page comes around? Well, then that's difficult, right? And then we are emotionally entangled with people, and it can be hard to let those people go. I mean, we can have love for people, and we can feel like our dream is never going to come into reality with them, but we can still love them, We'll summarize this probably again later, but let's go to the next thing. So then we have new supportive connections, and the reason is because of victim mentality. The other way with the kind of liking to be a loving, nurturing person to people, some people could have gotten in relationships with people and you thought you harness these energies in the same way. Both of you could have seemed to be people who give to other people. The only problem is one person can give to other people because they're hoping they're going to heal and grow and mature themselves over time. Other people like to give to other people and they're hoping they keep staying in lack because then they feel like they're a loving person. And so both people, in a way, it's like you harness those, being willing to be loving and nurturing to people, but one hopes people will grow and mature and the other one hopes people won't. And that's when we can kind of realize that someone likes us to not really love and believe in ourselves. We thought and could have viewed them and they could have been, seeming like a loving person. And it seemed like your dreams were going to come into reality with it. But as time went by, you kind of realized, well, you were connecting in with your more loving nature to deal with your own victim mentality, to get to a place of balance within yourself, kind of balance between your more shadowy nature, which can be overgiving nature, to get more balance within yourself. The other person could have been unhappy about that because they liked it when you didn't love and believe in yourself and you were willing to give, or needing their help or looking to them as like the saving grace in your life. But then when you got more balance, then they didn't maybe want to be in a relationship with you anymore because the way that they like to be viewed as loving, but only if you stay in kind of victim lack mentality. So they could have not wanted to be in the relationship anymore. And you maybe didn't want to be in the relationship anymore because you realized the truth of it. It's like they want you to not love and believe in yourself. They want you to maybe keep either being in lack or giving to them and them taking from you. And it's like, what about an equal give and take relationship? And that's when you realize you had a dream of equal give and take and the other person could have liked it being out of balance. I either want to play the parent-teacher role and you be the child and the student, or I want to be codependent on you like the child and the student and you play like the parent figure role in my life and that's how some people view relationships. I shouldn't have to do this work within myself. Isn't the illusion of love that I go find someone who nurtures and loves me? That's not my job. I'm not supposed to have to nurture and love myself. I'm not supposed to have to learn how to fill my own cup. And some people might feel that way because maybe by worldly standards, they do look like they have, maybe they're attractive, maybe they have money, maybe they have status, image, or power. And so then they think that because I have these things of the world, people are supposed to want to be in relationship with me because they don't have those things of the world in their own victim mentality. I have these things of the world. You have maybe a loving, giving, nurturing nature. Perfect. And that's how some people view life. If I look a certain way and I'm attractive, people are going to want to be in a relationship with me. If I have money, status, image, or power, people are going to want to be in a relationship with me. If I have social clout and have a good social network or I'm outgoing, people are going to want to be in a relationship with me. The high vibe people can have those traits and qualities and characteristics also. They just don't think that because they have those traits and qualities and characteristics, that entitles them to being entitled in a relationship. Like the privileged person. Like the scales are supposed to be tipped in their favor. The high vibe people are still motivated by love. They might be attractive. They might have money. They might have status image. They might have social connections. But they want to be in relationships with people based on love. And the other people are like, well, no, if I have these things that people want, for some reason, in their egoic nature, they think people should indulge them slightly in the relationship or a lot. And they could just be looking for someone who thinks that same way as them, because they want it, if they align with being more about themselves, not independent from their worldly nature, but aligned with their more worldly nature, that can be how they view life. And they want to get in relationships with people who are willing to indulge them in that way, or people who don't love and believe in themselves. That's what they think is just and fair. And they get in relationships with people, and until the people they get in a relationship with see through the illusion of who these people are, because odds are they do present themselves as these just and fair and stable and grounded and loving people, so that people will get in a relationship with them. And we can all, go through periods where a relationship didn't work out the way we wanted. We can all want to be in a new relationship. We can all be sad that one relationship didn't work out. And some of these people, that's kind of people, they're looking to take advantage of it, is what I'm saying. So it's kind of like using their intuition in a shadowy way. Let's go see what this card is next. We have family, friends, and guides in reverse. Well, let's see. Spirit. Okay. Well, some people, again, what do we align with within ourselves? Some people have rejected aligning with their more loving ways of being, and they think that's just and fair. Here we do have the two swans in shadow. That can kind of be narcissistic. I'm more about me. Other people should be more about me. I'm more about indulging myself in the world. I want other people to indulge in these things in the world with me. I'm more about ego and image and money and materialism. That's what drives me. I'm narcissistic. I want people to buy into the illusion. Shadowy Pisces energy is about creating an illusion. I want people to buy into the illusion of who I am, because that's how I view myself. You buy into the illusion of who I am, and then I get to be someone who's hiding that I operate more from my defensive, egoic, prideful, egotistical, materialistic nature, and I get to be in a relationship with someone who's loving. And this whole experience is to teach people lessons. We come in contact with all these different people for us to help us get clear about what our truth is. Is this how you want to live your life? Are you going to indulge poor behavior in yourself and others? Love is meant to be balanced. Love is meant to be just and fair. Some people can be very overgiving, and they indulge people in poor behavior. And they have some lessons to learn. Is this how you want to keep living your life? Do you want to keep giving to people who keep taking? Or people who it works for them, is good for their ego and their image? They're kind of more worldly, ego, selfish focused, self-focused, and you're loving and giving. Really, is that what you want? Or is it not what you want? So why are we drawn and attracted to certain people? Because we have valuable life lessons to learn from them. If the people we get in relationship with are willing to see how their own shadowy, worldly, immature, egoic nature steals from them, keeps them in lack, sabotages relationships, keeps them up in their fears and their insecurities, being in more codependent energy, looking outside themselves for the answer, it'll sabotage relationships. If everybody does this work within themselves to water themselves, offer love to their own worldly nature, offer love and compassion and forgiveness to themselves for the mistakes they've made. We're human beings. Life is all about learning lessons. We make lots of mistakes. To offer ourselves love, to forgive ourselves, be compassionate to ourselves. We have lessons to learn in life. And if everybody takes responsibility for that within themselves, to love themselves, to not be in more codependent energy, to learn to give themselves the things that they wish other people would give them, to be more independent of their more shadowy nature, then they would align with their more loving nature, and they would get more balance within themselves. Less codependent on other people in the world or the world at large to validate their worth and value and fill their cup emotionally, or to define their worth and value. It's like, I define my worth and value. Me and God define our worth and value. Other people in the world are not the dictator of if I have worth and value. Me and God have decided I'm a unique, creative, inspired human being, and I'm offering love to my shadow nature. And high vibe energy would be wanting to teach other people that and inspire other people to do that. But all we can do is offer people, like share the good news with people. We can't make people use what we give them, love and encouragement. We can't make them do this work within themselves if they're not willing to. And if they're not willing to, we wish them peace and love and joy, and we move on. There's someone we know that when we see them, we treat them like we treat other people in the world. We treat them the way we like to be treated with, love is what helps heal people. But am I going to be in a relationship with you? No, because you haven't freed yourself from some of the things that manipulate you. And that is the third party in their relationship. The third party in your life of self is hope and faith and belief and love. A house divided, working with cross purposes, can't stand. I need to be in a relationship with people whose third party in their life is hope and faith and belief and love, is the guiding factor in their life. Not the fear, not the insecurity, not the pride, not the ego, not the entitlement, not the immaturity, the lust, or the greed. Want. It has to be balanced, and kind of like I'll love you from a distance. So, let's go see what's coming up. And the people in your life that are working together with you that way, everybody's acting in a balanced way. They have learned to be independent, aligning with peace and love, to realize how their own shadowy, immature nature would sabotage the relationship. And they're not being codependent on other people. They're maintaining balance within themselves to work cooperatively with the supportive, encouraging, loving people in their life. Okay, let's go see what's coming up. For the people who are in this high vibe Pisces energy, there's some people in the world that would like to be in relationships with some of you, but they got some, they could see you as a very balanced, loving person, and they might be afraid that they can't do that. They maybe would have some growing up and maturing to do, and maybe they would have to detach from some ways of viewing life, and then therefore people in their life that they've been aligning with in order to get the justice they deserve, to align with their more loving nature and other loving people in their life. But they could be codependent on that and those people, and they're not willing and not at a stage of life where they feel confident within themselves to be more independent. And if they are a kind of a selfish kind of person and they have someone indulging them in a relationship, they're unwilling to give that up to take a risk in love. I have someone who I think will stay in a relationship with me that isn't going anywhere. And for some people, you know, just having someone in their life or to have sex with is the most important thing, you know. What's coming up for the high vibe people? The Seven of Pentacles and the Lovers, because of the Nine of Pentacles, which is like the deserving card here. Is that what it's called? Yeah. As people do this work within themselves to invest in love, which is a free will choice, and they offer love to their more worldly nature to work through their fears, their insecurities, their self-limiting beliefs, they will become more independent of things that used to manipulate them. From the 7 to the 9, it's the Two of Pentacles, no longer juggling, kind of going back and forth, presenting ourselves one way in the world when really we could still have these fears and insecurities or self-limiting beliefs. I'm going to work through those things that have kept me from kind of going back and forth. Am I willing to move forward in life differently? Am I not? Do I know my worth and value? Do I not? Am I going to be a more codependent energy or am I not? Am I going to have hope and faith and belief in myself or am I not? And as they go through this process, they get to a place of feeling more stable and grounded and independent within themselves, freeing themselves from the fears, shadowy Pisces is the fears and the insecurities of moving forward into unknown territory and trusting our intuition, and people will get there. It takes time. It's a process. Some other people, they've kind of already, even though we can detach from certain people, it does take time to become independent of them. And then again, because we're these emotionally complex people. I love them. I hate them. I never want to talk to them. I hope they call me, Or we can just have hope and faith and belief that other people will grow up and mature themselves. But eventually we kind of get to a place where, whatever they do in their life, whether that's an adult child, a sibling, a friend, or a romantic interest, I'm good. Kind of not so emotionally enmeshed, kind of realizing everybody's got their own life to live. They're going to make the decisions that they make. And it's accepting other people have free will to live their life whatever way they want and feeling like I'm okay with it, whatever they decide to do. Everybody's going to go whatever path. That's why there's a key on either side. Nothing's wasted. Whatever choices people make in life, they're going to learn some lessons. Some people are going to learn some hard lessons. Some people have been illuminated to the truth that it's about love. And people are going to want to invest in the high vibe people. Some because, oh my gosh, you look stable and grounded and loving. I want to be the next person to be in a relationship with someone like you. But that's not really where they're at. And I think you'll invest time and energy into people to get to know them. Offer people peace, love, and joy that you meet in the world. But it's like I'm not taking on another project. I want to have more meaningful relationships with people who are really on the same page as me. And if you're not on the same page as me, and if my intuition tells me that your intentions are more something other than love and healing and growing and maturing and have learned some of the same lessons that I've learned, I'm just going to be someone who treats you like I treat other people in the world, and you'll be someone I know, but you won't be someone that I get in a more involved relationship with. And the people in your life who you think are more independent, who have quit juggling, who've picked a path and they picked the same path you did in their free will choice. It's not more about themselves or the world or ego or image or defensiveness. It's about hope and faith and belief and love. Those are the people that you're going to get in relationship with. And then as you move forward with those people, that, there's lessons to learn in that too, and new fears and insecurities will bubble up. But if everybody is willing to do this work within themselves, take responsibility within themselves, when I have fears and insecurities bubble up, I do this work within myself to work through it so that I can keep maintaining balance within myself and be in an energy of love with people, treating other people the way I like to be treated. What's coming up for people who harness some more worldly or shadowy Pisces energy that they might not see coming up? God wants everybody to be free of their more immature worldly nature, but they have free will. We reap what we sow. So some people who keep rejecting, loving, and believing in themselves and healing and growing and thinking, no, I can just ignore it. I'm just going to wear my false mask and present myself as a loving person. I'll just try to maybe manipulate someone else. Well, the same scenario is going to play out again. Other people might stay in a relationship giving to them for quite a while. It all takes until people want to deal with the truth of it. They could be in those relationships for 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. It's just until one of the people, because the whole thing is we can get in relationships, and depending on what age you are, if you get in a relationship and you get married, well, there's lots of things to learn that you're dealing with there. If you're having kids, there's a lot of things to learn that you're dealing with there. Somewhere in there, and we all can be on the same page for quite a long time. But until someone in the relationship starts to deal with some of their own issues, so it can take a long time until there's a problem in a relationship. And the next person that some of these people get in a relationship with, if they're all past that stage of life, well, then there's not as many things that you're working on, that you're dealing with, that are all these new things that you're learning. Then it could be where the cycle happens much faster because people also have some life experience under their belt and they've dealt with people who kind of have been in shadowy energy, or they have been in relationship with people who have some of these defensive issues or something. And I think they kind of resolve them quicker and they've learned to listen to their intuition more. But if some of these people try to go manipulate someone else as they keep getting older in life, it can get harder and harder to find someone who is still as naive and gullible as they could have been at 18, 21, 25, and 30, because they've learned lessons in life. But as the shadowy people are in different relationships and they learn lessons in every relationship, sometimes their false mask can get better and better with each relationship too. So anyway, let's see what's coming up for the worldly shadowy Pisces people. Okay. Well, we have 2 cards not showing themselves because of the Queen of Wands. It has to do with these 2 cards. The 3 of Pentacles in reverse and the 2 of Swords in reverse. Some people who have been kind of shadowy, you're either being truthful and honest and just and fair and acting with character and integrity in a relationship, or you're kind of not. And you could be trying to manipulate people or do things to try to make people not love and believe in themselves. Maybe getting in other relationships, kind of triangulation, to try to make the people that they're in relationship with feel rejected. For some of those people that were doing that, what they didn't see coming is that some of the loving people in their life listen to their intuition. so the queens can talk about how we think and feel. Some of the people in their life are aligned with their high vibe Queen of Wands energy. I am motivated and inspired by love. I can be a loving, giving person who can put in a lot of work and effort to try to make a relationship work. But eventually, they no longer want to keep working with people who seem to want to be in denial of the truth that it is supposed to be about being inspired by love and being more bold and brave and confident to do love, to get out of their fears and insecurities and pride and ego. So if you had some people in your life that harness shadowy Capricorn, shadowy Libra, they don't have to be those sun signs. For some of you they were, but it's just people who are more aligned with the world and don't want to see the truth. Maybe don't want to see the truth that they have a lack mentality, they have a victim mentality, that they're full of themselves, that they think they want to stay in denial of the truth that it's supposed to be about. There's more to life than just them or these things of the world that they want to indulge in or make their life about. And other people have been illuminated to the truth. And these other people don't want to see the truth. The truth sets you free to live your life differently. And the truth is some people don't want to live their life differently. So the high vibe people have been illuminated to the fact that I don't want to work with people who want to keep staying in denial of the truth. I wish you peace, but I'm going to love myself and give myself the things that I wish you would have given me, because you might choose not to be very loving or very giving, or you choose to be manipulative or hurtful or unkind, and I'm going to give myself those things. And for some of those people, when cards aren't showing themselves, that's what some people were doing in a relationship. When some people in their life weren't being loving and kind and just and fair, what some of the shadowy people weren't seeing was that the other people were watering themselves. I'm going to nurture myself so I'm not like parched and dry. I'm going to give myself the things that I wish other people would have given me. And while they did that work within themselves, it transformed their life. Love is what can transform our life. And some people behind the scenes were doing this within themselves. Well, they were maybe also giving to others, but the other people maybe rejected it. And the other people could have even could still be in denial. Some of the shadowy people in people's lives still think some people feel rejected or out in the cold or something. And they don't realize that these people know their worth and value. Sometimes shadowy people act like that because it makes them feel powerful. And then they build their ego off of it. Like, look how I made that person feel. Look how I threw them under the bus. I kicked them to the curb. And so long as they think that those people feel kicked to the curb and thrown under the bus and are sad and hurt, they're like bubble balloon of egos floating up in the air. It's a false sense of empowerment because, again, it's building your sense of empowerment off of how you make other people feel. And what they don't see coming is that the people in their life love and believe in themselves and don't want to work with them anymore. And when they see through the illusion of it, they're going to be the ones who are in their ego. What? They don't want to work with me anymore? What? They've become independent? What? And then their whole sense of bravado kind of floats back down to the ground, their bubble burst, and then they're in their ego about it. Well, how dare those people love and believe in themselves? Well, how dare those people not let me run their life? How dare those people? I kicked them to the curb. I threw them under the bus. I rejected them. I maybe went and got in a new relationship. They're supposed to be sad forever, and my ego bubble is supposed to be floating up in the air. It's like, ping. People love themselves, and people don't even have an interest of being in a relationship with them anymore. And then they're in their ego about it. And they didn't see that coming. High vibe people empower themselves. It's not empowering to feel powerful by hurting other people. That's nothing to be proud of. Some people are shadowy people and they kind of get off on that kind of thing. Makes them feel powerful. Makes them feel like they're writing other people's story. Look at the impact I can have on other people's life. I control their life story. And other people said, you don't control my life story. I see through the illusion. I see the truth. At one time, I did view you as a loving, just and fair and nurturing and supportive, encouraging person. But then you showed me that that wasn't who you were anymore. And I'm not going to be in my ego about it. I'm going to love myself and believe in myself, to not give up on my dreams. I'm just going to give up on you. Because you're not who I thought you were. And I'm going to become independent of you. And I'm going to go invest in loving people in the world. And then some of these people are mad because you're at peace. And they, meanwhile, are probably off trying to manipulate someone else. Still haven't dealt with their fears and insecurities to figure out why they act in these defensive, shadowy, prideful, egotistical ways. Why they make these things about them the most important thing about them. Why aren't they doing love? But they maybe just don't want to do love because you can get hurt doing love. Don't view life that way. Some people do think life is all about people creating an illusion, people trying to manipulate other people, and they could think everybody does that. They could just think you're doing a much better job in creating a better illusion than they are, and they're jealous of you. And it's like, I'm not creating an illusion. I really did do the work to be free of my egoic nature. I'm not trying to manipulate people. I'm offering people love and encouragement to free themselves. And they're like, what? I don't get it. You know, they just can't even comprehend that for some of them because they're so aligned with living more from their mind than their heart and thinking all anybody does is try to manipulate other people. I think probably 50% of the people in the world at any given moment are more aligned with their worldly nature, and 50% of the people in the world are aligned with their more loving, intuitive nature. And some of these people just don't get it. And some of the people they currently are trying to manipulate might be unwilling to work with them too, because they can see that these people aren't free to, people who are loving, it's like they freely give of themselves because their cup of love overflows because they replenish themselves. They can freely give of themselves. They're not selfish and greedy and prideful and defensive and manipulative. And some of these people that the next people they're trying to get in a relationship with have already been there and done that with people like that. And they could maybe be able to tell that these people have things that manipulate them. And they realize that if they want their dreams to come into reality, they don't want to take on another project either. And then these people might end up, what they should be is in a relationship with someone who's like themselves. And that might not be what they see coming. They could have someone come towards them who presents themselves as harnessing high vibe Leo energy, loving, warm, nurturing, supportive. You'll get justice being in a relationship with me, just like these people try to present, shadowy people. But what they're hiding is I too don't listen to my intuition. I too make decisions more out of pride and ego and fear and insecurity and codependency and ego. And that would be a just and fair relationship. If I kind of look at the victim mentality as like the Five of Pentacles, which can be just aligning with their more worldly nature. And they should be in a relationship with someone who's more about the ego and the image or the indulgence or the fear or the defensiveness to love, because that's what they align with within themselves. And they might not realize that that's kind of who they're going to end up being in a relationship with, is people who are like them. Because as loving people keep learning lessons and healing and growing and maturing and learning to listen to their intuition, those people no longer want to be in a relationship with people who keep acting like this. And they might be in a relationship with someone that maybe it looks like they have this new loving relationship, but they both could be in it for their own ulterior motives. Pride, ego, fear, codependency, insecurity, and they're both on the same page, and maybe together they can help each other because they're kind of more closer together on the same page. Sometimes shadowy people try to get in relationships with people who are several steps ahead of them, like they're free to be loving and giving and they're not. And then that's a very big gap to cross and lots of lessons to learn in between there if they were to try to free themselves from what manipulates them. And it can take, we all have been there, it can take years to free yourself from something. I'm going to quit belittling and berating myself. How many years did that take where that habit was discarded and you're loving and nurturing and supportive to yourself? That can take years or decades. And much less if other people have other lessons learned. For some people, it could take their whole lifetime to cross that distance. So if they're in relationships with people who are more on the same page as them, maybe together, because they can kind of relate to where each other's at. And, that's what high vibe energy would want for people. To get in relationships with people who are more on the same page as them, people who've learned some other lessons in life and are more independent and free to love and give love, other people who work through their own fears and sense of unworthiness or whatever, will do this work within themselves to love themselves, to work together with other people who are like that. And the people who don't will probably get in a relationship, it's kind of like, we can't beat ourselves up. We are where we're at. We view life the way it is. We have our issues. But just because we might want to, say, be in a more mature relationship like 30-year-olds, but we're 18, maybe we should hang out with 18-year-olds and learn some lessons instead of trying to be in relationships with people who are like 30-year-olds that we just don't have a lot of commonality with or life experience that's on the same page, and just accept the truth of it. So, and some of these people, because they were more motivated by the world, they could have let go of loving people because they felt like they didn't have enough status or image or money or something, and they could have wanted to try to get in a relationship with someone because of shadowy intentions. But then the people they went to go get in a relationship, the Queen of Wands can represent like the other man, the other woman. That person maybe didn't want to work with them for their own reasons. And maybe they were going to get in a relationship with someone who they thought was more on the same page as them. Well, the whole thing is, if both people are people who really don't want to do love, don't want to grow and mature themselves, it's awfully hard to find someone who's kind of on the same page as you. Well, I kind of like you to grow up and mature a little bit. And the other person's like, well, I'd like you to grow up and mature a little bit. And we can have two stubborn people who are used to people indulging them, and neither one is willing to budge. Or we can have people who get in a relationship because of ego or image. But then if someone else comes along that's got more money, more status, more image, more attractive, more willing to indulge them, oh, sorry, bye. I'm going to go get in a relationship with them because it wasn't love anyway. And for some people, the people they went to go get in a relationship with, it didn't work out the way they wanted. And the whole thing is, and we could have all been there and done that. The high vibe people learn the lesson from that. Why didn't I love and believe in myself? Why did I maybe push away loving, encouraging people in my life? Why do I keep getting in more codependent relationships? Why, and they did this work within themselves to free themselves, and they learned lessons from that life experience. You could have repeated it many times, but eventually the people who aren't willing to keep repeating an old pattern see the truth. I need to love me. And they do this work within themselves so they don't repeat that old pattern. And some other people haven't learned that lesson. And some people are just in their ego because the people they want to have love them, maybe to validate their worth and value, keep rejecting them. And it's trying to get them to see, why do you chase after people who reject you? Why is it so important that people who might have in shadow a certain status or image or whatever, they could really want to be part of that clique? It's like, well, you can live your life chasing after that, trying to get those people, or trying to change those people. Why don't you go get in relationships with people who are accepting and loving and nurturing, that accept you for who you are? Because sometimes in our shadow energy, it's like trying to get people who have certain, maybe they're immature, or they're a cheater, or they, have some issue. Oh no, I am bound and determined to make those people love me. Why don't those people love me? And it can be because they haven't learned to do this work within themselves. I need someone like that to choose to shed that to love me. And it's like, and that's when other people learn this lesson too. I don't need to make them give up anything. I'm going to let them live their life the way they are. And I'm not going to get in a relationship with them. I don't need them to give that up. I don't need them to love me. I accept them the way they are. And they are someone who I do not want. That's the type of person who has traits and characteristics like that I don't like being in a relationship with. So I'm going to stay independent of them, and I'm not going to get in a relationship with them. But other people are still chasing people to try to get them to, you should view me as a loving person. You should want to be in a relationship with me. You should give up those things or ways of being and be in a relationship with me. And they're going to maybe keep chasing people. And the people they keep chasing, because they have this lesson to learn, are going to keep not being in a relationship with them. You're not learning the lesson. You need to learn to love yourself. So, there you go, Pisces. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.